Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 312 of the show with no name. I'm your humble host, Nick, and in today's episode, we're going to be visiting another little old farmer cemetery out here in the middle of nowhere in Washington State. This cemetery goes by the name of the Lamona Cemetery. Let's get into this. As you can see, this cemetery hasn't been visited for quite a while by anybody, and it is very overgrown, which is the case in a lot of these cemeteries out here. They're not necessarily forgotten, but they've been passed down from generation to generation to different farmers that have worked this land. And I'm not even sure if any surviving relatives from anybody buried in this cemetery are still even around. The immigrants that built this area and farmed this area back in the late 1800s were also from German descent, seeing that most of them were from Germany. I'm going to start this episode off today talking about Burton G. Cox, and he was born on March 20th, 1884, and he would pass away on September 7th, 1897 at the young age of 13. He was run over by a wagon and endured great agony for 24 hours before his death. The headstone that we're looking at right now, which I would consider to be the prize of this cemetery, is the headstone that represents members of the Coons family that were buried here. Vincent and Ernestina Coons were born in Austria in the 1840s, and they would both pass away in 1908. They are buried here with one of their sons, and his name was Levi. He was born on March 26th, 1883 in Nebraska, and he would pass away at the young age of 23 in 1906 of appendicitis. He left behind his family and a large circle of friends to mourn his departure. Leonard Hammersmith was born on January 1st, 1839 in Germany, and he would pass away in Harrington, Washington at the age of 62 on January 10th, 1901. He was an old settler of the area. He was formerly a doctor and practiced some skill as a practitioner among the afflicted. Not having a diploma, however, objection was raised to his continued practice, and he would abandon the work altogether. At the time of his death, he left behind a wife and 5 children. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about Otto Albert Luton. And he was born on April 10th, 1885 in Minnesota. And he would pass away at the age of 21 on February 8th, 1907. His cause of death was pneumonia. He had been troubled with a severe cold for some time, but continued to work until about 10 days previous to his death. He was of good habits, honest and industrious, and his early departure is a sad loss to his family and many friends. He is buried here with his mother and father, whom were immigrants from Hamburg, Germany. I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos of this awesome little farmer pioneer cemetery, and I'll